Good morning, Dave.
30 years ago, I was my ex used to take my son to daycare all the time. And one morning I took him, and I actually went right to work and left him in the car for almost 6 hours.
Whoa.
6 hours. What happened to him? Did he survive? Or?
Nothing. Yeah. It was a cool day. It wasn't hot. And
So when you see these stories, Dave did this 30 years ago, left his kid in the car for 6 hours, and like this is the same story you hear from everyone, that they're out of their routine. Something you normally don't take the kid, or something changes about your routine in the morning, and that's when this happens. So how old was your kid?
It's an awful feeling.
How old was your kid?
Now he's 31.
So at the time, how old was he?
A little more than a year.
Okay. People will immediately say, well, how can you forget your kid in the back seat of the car?
It's a lot easier than you think it is.
In those 6 hours,
it's an awful feeling.
Go ahead,
awful
Peter.
feeling.
In those 6 hours, you never once thought about, oh, my kid, what's my kid doing today? Or
No.
He was busy at work.
It was out of my routine. I was at work, and once I got to work, the phone calls and the computer's going, and the only reason I know that is when I went out to lunch, I went to go to my car, and I found him there.
Tell me that feeling of looking in your car and seeing your kid in there.
I still have. I can just think about it and get that same pit in my stomach. It's a terrible feeling, and I was fortunate.
Did you?
It wasn't hot out.
Did you
cry?
Did you? Well,
scream?
wait. Did you see him, or did you know as you were walking to the car, and then did that trigger it, or when did you first realize?
When I was walking towards the car and I could see the car seat, I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Oh.
Yeah, I cried. Dude, I cried my eyes off. I couldn't hug him enough.
Was he awake or asleep?
He was sleeping.
Oh my God!
He was asleep in the car seat.
Did you think
Did you think he was dead? Yeah.
Well, no, actually, because I know it was like only 50-something degrees out, and I always had a habit of leaving my car windows cracked, and that was because if somebody wanted to rip my radio off, they wouldn't have to break my window. It was easier to get a radio put in than to pay you $150 for a window. But, yeah, it was I get shook up thinking about it now.
And so he was okay. He probably woke up and was screaming, and then just eventually fell back asleep, screamed himself back to sleep or whatever, I would imagine.
I'm guessing something like that. Well, he was asleep when I put him in the car seat, too. So
And
it's just, you know, when you think, you know, you never do that. And I would have said, if had it not happened to me, I would say there's no way you could forget a kid in a car.
And then when you see these stories, this must bring back memories of what you did 30 years ago.
I feel for those guys. I mean, like I said, I'm lucky. My son's fine, healthy, and you know, and then you see the ones where they're not so lucky.
Did you tell your son later in life?
Yeah, look, you see, we hear the stories about these kids who have died from being left in hot cars. And there's, I think Sonny Hostin on CNN said there had been 60 kids or something over the past 10 years, so about 6 a year.
600.
Oh, was it 600? Maybe it was 600, I think she said. You're right, because I played the clip. Yeah, 60 a year. We only hear about the ones that die. How many does it happen to, like Dave, where it's in the spring or the fall or the winter or whatever, and the kids survive? That's not something you go around telling all your neighbors. Hey, I left the kid in the car for 6 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, people who don't believe me, this can happen. This can happen. It happened to Dave. Did you tell your son about this, Dave, later in life?
Yeah, I told my son. My ex-wife has never heard it unless she's listening now. This is the first time she'll hear it.
You never told your wife? She would have killed you.
No.
Oh, my God. And the daycare never told her?
No.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Wow.
Dave, well, I'm glad that it turned out the way that it did, and I appreciate the call. Thank you, Dave.